Hello, Oracles. Well, we had another ugly day in the market today. We had the Dow down almost 2.5%, S&P's down 3%, and the NASDAQ is down over 3.5%. So why is this? Well, we've got oil running high. The situation going on with Russia and Ukraine is terrible, and it's affecting the entire world. We're putting so many sanctions on Russia. Oil prices are skyrocketing. And now when you start looking at inflation, which is the huge catalyst that's going on in the whole entire market, and there are concerns about the inflation going up, well, when you start taking oil and you put Brent at about $125 a barrel at the time of this recording, you're just asking for higher inflation as well. And you keep on pushing gas and fuel costs up, then the cost of everything is going to go up and inflation is just going to get higher. That in turn could potentially and might actually lead to a recession, might lead to a point where we need to force a recession in order to bring inflation back into line. Again, time will only tell on this, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more pain due to this inflationary pressure coming in. We're going to see on Thursday morning with the CPI data to see where inflation is at, but you got to remember that CPI data coming out on Thursday is going to reflect February, and all those numbers are going to be prior to the Russian invasion, so prior to oil prices going up, which means that when we get CPI in April, it's going to take into account the oil prices going up over the course of March, and that's going to get extremely ugly going into April. So I think what's going to end up happening is we'll get CPI data on Thursday. We're still technically trading in our bull pennant right now. I think we may see some green tomorrow because we had so much selling off today. But going into Thursday, that's going to determine whether we break out or break down. And again, as I had said before, if we break out, I don't think it's going to last long. I think the Fed meeting that we see and hear next week is going to determine how the market's going to price everything in. If they give us, talks about inflation due to oil and prices going up and them having to act a little more hawkish to keep inflation in line, we can see a pretty big sell-off. So now there's two ways that I'm playing this. The first way is the prepare for the worst, which is the way I usually play things. I was watching a video by Vin over at Investment Club. He's hedging his portfolio right now with a safety base with VYM. It's the Vanguard High Dividend Yield Fund. I think it's a great fund to be in. I have been in it before. I might actually put some money into that as well. Having cash is going to be a good way to be, at least short term, with inflation going as high as it's going to be going. You don't want to have cash for a long term, but while the market is turning red, not a bad idea to have cash before you unleash it back into the market. And for me, I use QYLD as my dividend play. Pays out about 10 to 12% in dividends on a monthly basis, which is phenomenal. So I use that as my dividend play during these rough times. And now this is all assuming that we are going to get inflation. Inflation is going to get much higher, and the Fed is going to be struggling to get inflation in line, and these are my safe plays to go forward with. So now my next strategy is, well, what if, and this is a big what if, and I know that it's just me being extremely optimistic, inflation goes really high, we see a lot of more signs for inflation going even higher, the market really freaks out in fear, the market comes crashing down, we go into a recession, but then somehow inflation just goes away. And then the Fed doesn't have to be as hawkish, the Fed can turn dovish, we don't have to raise rates as much, and the market's like, whoa, that's a nice surprise, and then we shoot out of it and all these beat down stocks come back out quickly. Again, that is a high hopes, so that is basically my strategy, how I play it, which is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So strategy 1 is my preparing for the worst, and strategy 2 is hoping that we end up getting through this inflation, and the market really over-fearing prices in way more than it really needs to, and then we can recover and we get some really excellent buying prices in the market. And now, unfortunately, I think in both scenarios, it's going to be ugly for a minimum of 6 months. I don't think we're going to be able to pull out of this. It's not like the inflation is going to magically go away. The Fed's going to have to raise rates. They were going to be doing it anyway. It's just a matter of how much is the market going to price in immediately and how far are we going to go down before the market determines, okay, all of the negativity that we know about between Russia and Ukraine, inflation, rates going up, how much is that going to get priced in before we hit that bottom? And so with this today, what I ended up doing for my moves is I added a little bit more to Tesla. It was dipping down close to 800. If Tesla dips down under 800, I will be making this swap. The way I do it is I add fractional shares into my SoFi account. Once I hit a full share, I flip those immediately over to my TD Ameritrade account and just start over again. I'd like to consolidate. I'm just not at that point right now, so I do everything for full shares in TD, and then I do my fractionals in SoFi. But that's what I do, so if I can flip that, it'll actually bring my cost basis down on Tesla over in my TD Ameritrade account. Otherwise, I added a little bit to SoFi today, and I had an opportunity to actually take some profits. I took a very small profit in BEP, and it was going up today because oil prices are going up, so renewable energy plays are going up for stocks. So it did well today. It may go up further, but where I'm at right now is there's still so much uncertainty in the market. Whatever plays run like that are probably going to be short-lived. So I took my profits and I put it in cash. Now I have about 5.5% cash, which is closer to where I want to be in this situation. I want as much cash or cash reserve plays available to me to be able to take advantage of the market as we pull back. Again, I want to be optimistic. I want to see the market run and us go to all-time highs again, but I got to be realistic. With oil prices as high as they are, with inflation as high as it is, and going even higher, I do not see us going into any sort of positive environment at all in the market for a long-term stretch until at least the end of the year. And so for me, I'm going to continue the strategy that I started at the beginning of the year. I wish I had started it sooner, but the market collapsed sooner than I had anticipated. And that is, as soon as I have any stocks that go profitable, I'm going to take those profits, get out of them. And these are my low conviction plays. Again, my high conviction plays, I'm dollar cost averaging in. But what I'll do is I'll take my low conviction plays, I will take those stocks, sell them off when I get profits, and then I'll either roll that money into my higher conviction plays or keep it as cash and be patient. The best thing you can do in the market right now is just be patient. You gotta wait. You can't get excited. Anytime the stock market goes green, that is not the time to dump money in. Maybe dabble a little bit as we come back, but please be patient. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not know what the market's going to do tomorrow. I can't predict these things, but just using my own brain and logic and seeing what I'm seeing with oil and inflation, I cannot foresee the market going on any sort of screaming bull run anytime soon. Let me know in the comments below, how high do you think inflation is going to get, and how far down do you think the market is going to get pulled before we hit a bottom and the market feels like everything is priced in? Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you so much. Have a great one.